It's hard to think of a composer whose music is so entwined with the politics of its day as the Russian Dmitri Shostakovich. His life ran in parallel with his country's most turbulent period, its 20th century bloody revolutions and communist rule. His music was almost under constant scrutiny for its hidden attacks on the regime. Most of the time he got away with them, although he wasn't immune to official criticism. Written in 1957 and saturated with popular and revolutionary songs, the Symphony No. 11 would have passed scrutiny by the Communist Party. After all, this is Shostakovich's almost cinematographic depiction of the events of Sunday, the 9th of January 1905, when thousands of Russians surrounded the Winter Palace in St. Petersburg to petition the Tsar for better working and living conditions. There was, at that time, no talk of revolution, but the tension built and built. Shots were fired by nervous Cossack troops, and more than 100 men, women and children died in the confused mess. Bloody Sunday came to mark the start of the Russian Revolution. And Shostakovich's music, with its film score quality and instant appeal, was, in the eyes of the party, a celebration of the triumph of the people over their oppressors. But think of when this symphony was written, 1957. Stalin had been dead just 4 years. So was Shostakovich celebrating? Perhaps even more relevant, the year before had seen the bloody oppression by the Russians of a Hungarian uprising. And on a personal note, Shostakovich's mother had just died and his second marriage was in trouble. So what at first appears to be a celebration of the Russian Revolution turns out to be something a lot more complex. And here at Colston Hall, the Bournemouth Symphony Orchestra will have you on the edge of your seat. Also on the programme is Prokofiev's one-movement first piano concerto of 1912, a work of unbridled youth and energy, written while the composer was still a student at the Moscow Conservatoire. To our modern ears, the music sounds tame enough, but to one critic in the audience, Prokofiev was ripe for the straitjacket. But the music opens with one of Prokofiev's most noble tunes, and Jonathan James will now show you just how Prokofiev achieves this wonderful lyrical melodic sweep.
What I love about the first piano concerto by Prokofiev, is how quickly the soloist just dives into the action. You get 3 opening chords in the orchestra, and then they're straight in. You get the sense that they wouldn't take no for an answer. It's very insistent music, just repeating the same word. It's very energetic writing, so typical of the young Prokofiev, and it's marked allegro brioso, which is a curious marking. It means noisy and with life. There's a lot that's very noisy and defiant about this piece, but there are contrasting bits too, which are so very typical of Prokofiev. You get this kind of marching material later on. And also beautiful lyrical harmonies. We always look forward to that in Prokofiev. This is an example. So although this is a very argumentative and energetic piece, it's the voice of a new piano prodigy thrusting themselves onto the international stage, and that was Prokofiev in his younger years. It's also restrained by a classicism, and it's that kind of balancing of energy with classical restraint that is so typical of Prokofiev.